What's up? What's going on? Hey, give me just a second. I was like getting ready to flip my scene on, and all this. I was like, oh, I need a microphone. So that kind of helps. I just remembered. So how's it going, man? Busy day. Busy day. Oh, my brother's calling. I forgot to call him. I gotta call my brother back tonight. Whoops. How's it going, Techno? Heyo. Dalcola, hello there. Shuckle Samurai, what's up? What's up, everyone? XOR, how's it going? 10 gig networking soon. Next arrive Wednesday. Awesome, Takano, man. You're gonna be living in the fast lane now. Dalcola, not much. 9 hours of rancher issues later. I'm taking a break, watching the stream a bit, and then probably sleeping. It's 3 a.m. currently. Yeah, man, get some sleep for sure. This stuff can wait. But glad you made it. Toastface Grilla, what's up, man? Yeah. Let's see. Total steal, $15 for 2 10 gig nicks. Nice. XOR, yeah, I agree. Share pics when you're done, please. I love seeing people's pics in our Discord. I'm just like, I live vicariously through other people with all this hardware. I wish I could buy and build it all, but I can't. So pics of your stuff are the next best thing. Actually, it's even better because then I don't need to buy it myself and tinker with those kind of things. It's kind of like owning a boat. It's like you don't want to own a boat, you just want a friend with a boat or something like that. It's kind of how I feel with all the hardware picks. I love them. What's going on? Sigor, how's it going? Yeah, in the Discord. It's over in the Deals and Freebies channel. Yeah, I saw that. I saw what your, what was it? The solar flare ones were like 10 bucks or something I saw earlier. Yeah, sounds awesome. Sounds like a heck of a deal. Sounds like too good to be true deal. But I mean, if they're cheap and they work, go for it. I think last time you also confirmed that they work with Windows Max Linux, so that's awesome too. But yeah, man, how's everyone doing, man? I have such a crazy busy day today. It's still busy. Man, I've been tinkering so much with this RM Mini 4.3 craziness. I don't know. So I know I talked about this a little bit, like wiring up my RM3 Mini LED light to this, and then possibly changing the lights back there. I'm like so close, man. I'm so close to getting it working. Like I can get it to work in app, no problem. But the weird thing is, it's like once you connect this thing to Broadlink's servers, they block all local access, which kind of stinks. And I think Home Assistant's figured out how to do it. So I'm like looking through Home Assistant's code. It's all written in Python. Never wrote any Python before, but I'm kind of writing it now. Yeah, Northern Lights. And then I'm kind of looking at this Go version of it too. So I'm kind of learning a little bit about Go. And I don't know. I just want to get it working. Once I get it all working, then I'm going to create my own code repo and my own Docker container so that anyone can pull it down and configure this thing if they want. Because like I get it, like Home Assistant's awesome, but not everyone has Home Assistant. Some people just have Docker containers or Kubernetes clusters or what have you. And so I want to get this thing working because I think it would be awesome to help automate some of this stuff. And I don't know, they're awesome devices, but they're made by Broadlink, commonly confused with Broadcom, definitely not the same company. But Broadlink makes them. I think earlier Toastface Gorilla said he had a couple of these, and they're awesome devices. But Broadlink has gone to great lengths to disable local access on these things. So it's kind of weird. But the Home Assistant folks has figured it out, and I even ran it with Home Assistant just an hour ago. Couldn't get it working. I don't know. I'm super determined though, and I want to have my own custom code too. Like I don't want to be like, oh, in order to configure this, you must first install and configure Home Assistant. Like, Home Assistant, great product, don't get me wrong. But I want to have someone be able to spin this up in a Docker container, no problem. Just because I don't want your requirement to be implement a whole entire another system. That's kind of a non-starter for some folks. But anyways, I'm rambling about this thing only because it's fresh in my mind and it's driving me crazy. And I actually have a 3 and a 4 here. I bought 2. I was like, maybe it's the 4. Maybe they pre-flashed firmware and did some craziness, but they're both doing the same thing. Anyway, I digress. Let's see here. Penguin Airlines, $10 with $110 shipping. Tell me about it. That's like the old school eBay way. It's like, oh yes, $9.95, but $45.95 in shipping. It's like, wait, what? Takano, $10 each, but gave an offer of $7.50, and they accepted. Man, they must be hurting to get rid of these. I mean, that's so cheap. I mean, $7.50. I mean, that's cheaper than a Chipotle burrito. You know, that's awesome. And you'll get a lot more use out of it than a Chipotle burrito. The Soccer Bum, what's up, chap? How's it going? Toastface Grill is such a rabbit hole, those broad links. I hear you. They can do so much when you get into them. I agree. And like if I just wanted to use the app and wanted to go through Broadcom servers, no problem. And it's a fantastic device. I already had it working. I already had it hooked up and everything. I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. But then I realized they disable local access once you configure it with Broadlink servers. And I was like, not so good. Then I thought, okay, I'll play their game. I'll build an official app that goes through their API. Not fun. Not fun at all. So I don't know. Home Assistant guys have figured this out. I need to, and they have a whole bunch of Python, but I don't write Python. So I'm trying to convert it. Either convert it to Go or convert it to JavaScript, one or the other. But yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome. Just these tiny little trash cans. They're like this big, you know, and they send out infrared codes to anything that's listening. And I have 2 devices back there, so I gotta kind of play with it. But I'm gonna build that into my own API too. Anyways, Takano, no shipping, cost where I live. Awesome. Awesome. Buenos dias. Y Gonzalez. Hey, good to see you. Welcome. How's it going? Takano, you're the one that got the Northern Lights going. The green back here. All right. Yeah, this is, I kind of like this green back here. I kind of like it. When it goes the Hawaiian sunset, that's when I look like I got some weird tan or spray tan, but yeah. Toastface Gorilla, use the GitHub software to connect to the Broadlinks. Yeah, sure. Yeah, let me know, because I've been combing GitHub. I've tried it in Go. I've tried it with Node.js. I've tried it with Python, and it's all me. I mean, but then again, there are people who did this 2 years ago with the Broadlink Mini 2, and their last commit was 2 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, things have changed since then. Like, they've released 2 new products, and on top of that, probably firmware too, because they know what you're doing. They don't want you to do it. I mean, just like a lot of places are going cloud only, which kind of stinks for us folks that like to tinker. But yeah, if you have something, definitely throw it in Discord, throw it anywhere, in hardware or code or wherever, anywhere, as long as I see it. Because like I said, I've been combing them, and I've already tried to contribute to one out there, but it doesn't look like that repo is going anywhere. It's kind of dead. Well, it seems dead because they haven't accepted a pull request in a while or answered any questions for a year, I think. So I don't know. I'll definitely offer a pull request when I do fix this. And then if they don't accept it, I'm just gonna fork it and roll my own and keep it maintained. But that's awesome. Sigora, Takano's living in unknown proxy. Yeah, where is this place you get free shipping? I want to know for sure. Toastface, yeah, find a link if you can. That would be awesome. Real Cosmic, hey, that looks like a new name. Hey guys, new here. Found you through your YouTube videos. Thank you. Well, welcome and thank you so much for being here. I knew that sounded like a real name. Also, you have Pascal casing. Thank you so much. Even though Real Cosmic, that would be kind of easy to figure out, but some people's names, it's like, where does the first name end and second one start? Thank you. And if you're not a programmer, Pascal case is the first letter in each word capitalized. But anyways, there's Pascal, then there's camel case, which is lower, upper, lower, and then there's kebab case, and there's slug case or snail case. But anyways, that's all boring stuff. Shuckle Samurai, hey, welcome new person. Yeah, that's what I was saying too. Exor, welcome, yeah. Banzaroff, do you do firmware yourself too? No, no, I don't do any firmware. No, that I love when people update firmware, but that's not me. I don't program at that low of a level. The level I program is a lot higher than that. I wish I knew how. And I've been sifting through all these hex codes and stuff like that. Like I'm kind of like I'm just hacking at it. I'm totally a hack when it comes to like Go or C even Python, I call myself a hack because I like I said, like my experience in the past has always been, you know, TypeScript, JavaScript, C#, VB.NET, like Microsoft Stack and Web Stack. That's what I've done for a long time. Haven't done Microsoft Stack stuff for a long time, unless you consider TypeScript that, but it's a little more open than Microsoft's stuff used to be. Toastface Grilla, I hate those same issues. Keep going, yeah, for sure. If I get it going, it's gonna be sweet because then anyone can spin up this Docker container in their own infrastructure, host this little website that helps you learn codes, and you don't have to go through the Broadlink servers, and you don't even have to spin up the whole entire Home Assistant thing, which a lot of people have, but some people don't. And then you can program these things right from a web page, and it'll be awesome. Sigor, yeah, thanks for welcoming Real Cosmic. That's awesome. Takano, they listed it under their regulatory ID instead of their actual model number, so no one is buying them since they searched the actual model number. Good call. Yeah, this is, I'm a fan of this one too, for some reason. I don't know. I like them both. I like them all, or I wouldn't even put them there. I do need to figure out something a little different for the Hawaiian Sunset, because the orange and pink, it's very close to this, just less blue. But I need to figure out something. I actually created one called America, and it's red, white, and blue in the background, but I didn't wire it up to something you can purchase. Actually, I think I don't want to go through it right now, but I did set something up called America I've seen. It does red, white, and blue, because I'm trying to think of like different scenes that people would be like, hey, that's cool, you know, but kind of running out of color combos. And plus, some of the color combos, like if I were to do a bunch of yellows and greens, like it kind of gets washed out. Like pink, blue, and green are great, or red, blue, and green, you know, primary colors, they look great. Everything in between kind of can get washed out. But anyways, yeah, thanks for redeeming those points. Thanks for earning those points too. I'm late, 750 for what? So Takano found a 10 gig Ethernet card. I think it's by SolarFlare for $7.50. They were asking 10 and he still lowballed them. I guess it's not lowball. I mean, you asked for what, 10, 20, 25% off? I'll go for it. It's worth a shot. It wasn't like 58% off or 80 like some people do on Craigslist when you lowball. I'd say that's just asking for the hookup. Let's see here. 10 gig Nix, yeah, for sure. K1, Killa. I'm gonna get this. Killa B, got it. I went through a ton of stuff to get 10 gig Nix set up, and still need to run fiber. Yeah, that's my starter. That's like, that's why it's a non-starter for me, is the running the fiber piece to my two most critical things. Otherwise, I might be jumping on that bandwagon too. I wouldn't even say bandwagon, jumping on the new standard, the new hotness, or the express lane. Let's see here, Killa B, going to be so sweet when you get it set up. I totally agree, Soccer Bum. Yeah, I'm jealous of people who get 10 gig. Toastface Grill, excited for people who chat about, excited for the people in chat about to go to 10 gig. I love it. Had it a few months, been solid. You guys are making me so jealous now. Yeah. Yeah. I would say I need it, but I get by. Like, I have tons of workarounds, not the greatest, you know, and my workarounds all have to do with my video stuff. Otherwise, I'd be, if I had one more thing that was like, I can't do it without 10 gig, I'd do it. I'd find a way. I'd drill holes in my floor and run fiber. It'd be all super, super off the books, like not legit at all. Which Linus does sometimes too in his videos. He's like, I'm just gonna drill a huge hole in this wall and then drill a hole in my ceiling and run stuff up here. I'm like, I guess he can do that. That's part of the video. Takano ships from Texas to AZ, no shipping costs. Hey, I figured it was coming overseas for that price. Yeah, that's a super good deal. Killer B at Soccer Bomb, I can't wait at this point. It's only between my desktop and server, but that will evolve. Yeah, that's what I want to. Between my desktop and server. That's all I really need for now. Penguin Airlines, I thought camel case was first letter starting with the second word. So camel case is first is lower, second upper, third is lower. Pascal case is first is upper, second is up. Everyone's upper. Every new word. But camel is alternating. but usually starts with lower. Killer Bee, it is, yeah. Yeah, man, you guys are making me so jealous. P. Diddy, man, you got points to spend, man. You are just changing the lights. Oh no, that was P. Diddy that time. Thank you. I thought that was Takano again. Let's have some party lights. Yeah, thank you. Takano, really debating. Oh, speaking of party lights, yeah, once I get this next thing going, I think I'm gonna have them flash on any kind of event, like follow sub bits. Like whenever something happens like that, besides my Raspberry Pi showing the image back there, I think I'm gonna get a little strobe action going. Not anything too extravagant, like I'd have to put some kind of epilepsy warning, nothing like that. Just subtle. Takano really debating between fiber and DAC. Fiber is more expensive due to transceivers, but it's much more easier to manage than a DAC. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't have either of those yet, but sounds awesome. Tim, you're really fighting this 10 gig. I know. Anyone who's been here for a while, I'm kind of like, it's not that I'm not sold on it. It's just, you know, the on-ramp is steep for me because I got to get cables from here to there. And then I start thinking of like all these adapters I'll have to use and things I'll have to buy that are, for me at least, in my network, you know, a gap solution. And it's like, I want something more long-term. And then this is all because who knows how much longer I'll be here in this house. And that's another thing. I'm just kind of like, well, you know, if I knew it was going to be here for a long time, sure, I'd do it. I'd totally do it. I'd wire it in the walls and I'd climb back up in the attic like I did 6 years ago. But I'm holding out. We might, we'll see. Might be making some moves. We'll see. Shoko Samurai. Yeah, I totally agree. Let's see. Just give in to the SFP Plus. Join us on the dark side. I know. On the dark side. Is Ethernet the dark side or is SFP Plus the dark side? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Takano, you should have just used Dennis to make a hole in the wall. Yeah, totally. Penguin Airlines, LL, the plopper, I can't speak today. A proper glow rod kit is 30 bucks on Amazon. It's worth doing right so you can sell your house without trouble. Yeah, man. Wait, a proper glow rod kit? What's a glow rod kit? I need to know this. So you can sell your house without trouble. I need to know, what's a glow rod kit? I learned so much from Penguin Airlines. Takano, this would look super cool flashing on the subs. I think so too. And I think I would just have them pulse. I don't know if I would totally have it like strobe light effect. I mean, maybe on the bottom. So these LEDs, I don't know if I can trigger it. Let's see. Oh yeah, see? This is what I need. This is why I need that other thing. So this actually has a flashing effect. Oh gosh, yeah, so I can do that. But this all depends on if I get this thing wired up, has a strobe effect. See what I have to do? I'm lazy. I want this all done programmatically. And then it has, I don't know what smooth is, whatever. There's all these, yeah, look at that smooth fade. And then I can change all these colors. I can't believe infrared is like bouncing off the walls right now and actually changing this. And then I have, you know, different colors, red, blue, but see how strong those are? And that's again why I want to wire this up to a smart device so then I can then use code to change it programmatically. I'm going to turn them off for now because it's disturbing the Zen, or there we go, the Zen we had going with the theme before. But it will be more intense and you'll kind of see around the couch and whatever. Anyways, this is the stuff I do that really probably makes no difference for some reason. I always, I don't know, it's just my personality. I do it until I figure it out. And if I don't figure it out, I won't stop doing it. If it's something I'm really interested in. Anyways, P. Diddy, you should see if you can do some kind of effects with lights, like breathing effect and just static colors. Yeah, that's what I was just showing. Man, we are on the same page. And that's what I think it would do. I think it would do the strobe or the pulsing, you know, for, I don't know, 10 seconds on some event, follow event, you know, one of those, and then stop and then go back to what originally was. So it's kind of weird because I'm going to have to program a lot of states too. And this is all coding stuff. I'll just figure out what the current scene is, have things strobe or flash, and then go back to the current scene because, yeah, just because. But I think it would be cool. Like, I'll play with it. first part is getting that Broadlink thing going. It's driving me crazy. I mean, like every minute that I'm not, you know, working on a million other things, it's that. But yeah, anyways, boring stuff unless you're into that, which I am. Techno ocean scene with the breathing effect. I like it. I like that. That's good. That's good. I like it. Yeah, a little blue, maybe a little blue and blue and green or something. I don't know. Yeah, what colors would that be? Toastface Gorilla, that's fair enough, man. Maybe worth the waiting. Yeah, I'm not, and I don't mean to be. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer on anyone who's done it, because like you guys have obviously done it for a reason. I just have like 3 or 4 reasons that it's hard for me to justify right now, especially possibly moving. So that's where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna tear any holes in the walls. Well, I have plaster, or what do I have in here? Plaster, and so plaster, you don't tear holes in the walls, you crack holes in the walls because it's just one big thing of brittle, hard rock. Not like drywall. Anyways, Techno or change colors. A bit like if the sun reflecting from the surface. I like that. Yeah. Like you're underwater and it's kind of the rays are coming down. I need to get. Oh, those could be the rays back there in my globe lamps. Yeah, so many good ideas. So many good ideas. I need to find new color combos though. I need to go. Need to go back to my favorite website to get inspired by color. It's Color Lovers or something. For some reason, I always, when I'm like, oh, I need a palette for something like my thumbnails. I'm just like Color Lovers, and I go there and I'm like, oh, nice. But it's the British way of spelling colors. Color Lovers. But yeah, they have so many great things there. If you ever are bored and you're like, hey, I need some colors that look good together, and rather than just pick them, yeah, Color Lovers is a great site. I've been using it for years because I'm like, yeah, show me a 80s neon palette. And I just type in neon, I'm like, oh yeah, there, that's it. That's the blue, that's the green. Now I'm giving away all my secrets, how I get my thumbnail colors. Not secrets, it's out there. The soccer bum. VMware Workstation Pro 16 released the other day. Nice, new version can do Kubernetes and Hyper-V. Whoa, wait, what? VMware Workstation Pro, it can do Kubernetes and Hyper-V. Awesome, so they're gonna do some nested virtualization. Oh, but that's type, I always mix it up, type 1 or type 2. But that's awesome. That is really awesome. That's good to know. Yeah, I used Workstation a lot for a while. I actually ran a lot of my services off Workstation for about, I don't know, 3 weeks while I was migrating stuff. I was just like, hope it stays on. And again, another reason why I always choose like a virtual machine to then host all my Docker and Kubernetes stuff on, or anything in general. I usually start my baseline is a virtual machine, because then I can move that virtual machine if I need to. And at least with VMware and Hyper-V, when I move stuff, there was the P2V tool. So it's physical to virtual, but you can actually use that still for virtual to virtual, because it knows no difference. You just install an agent on one, an agent on the, you don't even need an agent on the other. You give it some credentials and you say go. And it will basically clone that machine while it's running, spin it up, or not even spin it up, clone it on the other one, keep it shut down. Then you just shut down, start up, and it's awesome. I mean, similar to like enterprise-like tools, like I assume vMotion and all these enterprise tools, but there's some really like home, you know, scrappy version of those tools. If you just Google like P2V type stuff, super fun, super awesome. But yeah, good to know, good to know. I'll have to check it out. But I have done some VMware Workstation stuff. Actually, I did it for a while too. I used to test all my software packages on VMware on my Windows machine when I worked at this one company. It was super fun. P. Diddy. Or go RGB rainbow vomit. Yeah, that can be. If you look at some of my streams, I don't know, a month ago, they were kind of like that. It was like little green, little pink, little blue, little bit of everything. And I was like, oh man, I got to come up with some themes, because this is not looking okay. And arguably this doesn't look okay, but I think it looks okay. But it's a lot of pink. Blue's hard to get across unless I fire up the big RGBs below. But yeah. Shuckle Samurai for pulling wire. Yeah, pulling wire in general stinks. I've had to do it a few times in my house. Not fun. And I should have done it all at once. I didn't. I did it 2 separate times. And on top of that, I should have done it. I should have pulled more. My rule of thumb is if you're going to pull one, pull like 3. That's how I roll. Because yeah, one time I probably already said this, but part of it snapped halfway through, so I had to go back up and run another one. And it was mainly because of this weird turn we have around our stairwell. But anyways, yeah. And I, yeah, pulling wire is not fun. It might be fun. Like I ran our whole basement. That was fun because it was just like, oh, sweet, drill a hole here, feed it all through here. Totally fun. Doing an attic, not fun at all when you're just finding a hole and and you have all the insulation everywhere. Yeah, not fun. But unfinished basements, super fun because you're like, yeah, which way do I want to go? Killa Bee. Let's see here. I don't know what's up with the music. This new stuff I've been playing is, some tracks are super low, some, I don't know. They need to be normalized. Anyways, I'm complaining about free stuff. That's awesome. Shouldn't be complaining. Anyways, Killa Bee, I watched your infrastructure video, was curious how you decided on Proxmox. I'm in tech, so ESXi was an easy pick for me. Yeah, no problem. Good question, comes up a lot. I won't give you the long version, but for me it boiled down to a couple things. Like ESXi, fantastic product. I have nothing against it except for, nothing against it, but for me personally, I wanted a couple things from my hypervisor. One was I didn't want to spend money on a license, and I know that sounds super cheap, but I didn't. And some people might not want to spend money on ESXi, and I know there are ways to get it for free if your enterprise has a large, contract with them. Not everyone does. So there's that. And it's not that I wasn't against paying money for something, because I'm all for supporting software, but it has to do with the other things like number two, like sometimes their hardware support, they'll drop hardware support for NICs that I have, and I have to find some weird repack version of ESXi where people loaded the drivers back. That was not fun for me. Happened to me live once on an upgrade here at home. And these aren't slams on ESXi. Like they got to take care of what they got to take care of, and so there's nothing against what they're doing. Just talking about why it wasn't for me at the time. Third one is hardware requirements. So not only dropping hardware support, then it's hardware requirements like a hardware RAID adapter, which I do have, and I bought one off Craigslist and I ran it like that for a long time. But it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of those three things. And so ESXi, fantastic product. Like if I could, I don't know, didn't have those other requirements, I'd probably be running it, or I'd check out XCP-ng or something else. So yeah, those are kind of the reasons. And then I don't know if it's still hard or easy anymore to pass through a GPU on ESXi. It's hard on Proxmox, and Proxmox is totally open source and very flexible. I can't remember if it's easy or not on ESXi. So yeah, that was another one. And then the other real quick one is because I didn't have a license and I was gonna run the free version, there are restrictions. And so those restrictions didn't meet my needs. So only being able to allocate 4 CPUs to one of my virtual machines, it's not something that I wanted to forfeit, because I like to allocate more cores because I have 24 threads total. So anyways, not a slam on ESXi, like they're a business and they're doing a lot of stuff right. It's the reason why they're probably the top hypervisor, but yeah, not a good fit for me, but for you, yeah, absolutely, might be. And I'm not trying to persuade anyone like, oh, like Proxmox is the way to go. I say use what works for you. That's always my it's what I like to say. Get the most value out of your stuff. Don't buy if you don't have to. Consolidate when you can, and use what works for you. It's pretty much what I live by. But yeah, good question. Toastface Gorilla, Takano agree, cool idea. Yeah, with the water. Yeah, that would be awesome. Killa Bee, also curious what your graphic card you put in your server. I have a 750 and was debating throwing it in a server for YOLO. Yeah, I agree. I have 2 in my server because YOLO. One isn't even being used anymore, which I need to repurpose, and I keep saying I'm going to do it. One day I'm going to get up very early on a Saturday and move some stuff around. But I have a 1050 and 1060. So an NVIDIA 1050, 1060, I chose those because they don't need any external power. You don't need to get a 12-volt rail from anywhere. Pulls all the power it needs right from the PCI Express slot. And that was on purpose. That's why I chose those, because they would fit nicely in my Dell R710 with some modifications. But I didn't need to like hack away and find a power a power wire that doesn't exist or make my own for the server. I'm not, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can figure it out. I just didn't want to cut anything in my server or add anything. So, but yeah, those are in the links of that video you're probably talking about too. 1050, 1060. They work great, and reason why I chose them, like I said, they don't draw any external power. They get it all from the PCI Express slot. Ska, how you doing? How's it going? Oh, a sub badge. Thank you, kind stranger. Whoever donated. Last stream there was like quite a few people who gifted subs. I don't know if you can see who gifted it to you. I don't know. I think there's a way. I don't know if I can see it within OBS, but yeah, it was awesome. Proxmox has all features of VMware and you have to pay for free. XOR, yeah. And I would also include that they include features of, yeah, you said VMware. I was gonna say if it's just ESXi, they also include features of, what vMotion or vCenter. vCenter features, but you said VMware. So anyways, yeah, totally agree, XOR, yeah. Penguin Airlines, Adobe has a color palette tool too. Nice, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, it sounds super geeky, but I like to, I don't know, sometimes I like to geek out on color palettes when I'm like super bored with the way my desktop looks or the way my thumbnails look or the way the lights look in here. I go there to get inspired. Yeah, super fun to look at that stuff. Killer Bee, I just ended up using the free version, the refresh by keep. Oh, refresh key bypass. Oh, on the free version of ESXi or Windows, because I remember Windows had one. It was like, I forget, it was like something manager or something, and you could rearm it or something. I don't know. I used to know all this stuff. Type 2, thank you. Hypervisor, thank you. Also love the rectangle for Mac, super easy. Now you just need a macro. Now I just need a macro keypad. Oh yeah. Well, I was saying, you might want to look into Carabiner, Karabiner. Like it can do key bindings, but I think it can also do macros. Yeah, I love rectangle for Mac, super fun. Let's see here, XOR. Yeah, I know it's out there. I support VMware and Nutanix AHV at work. Nutanix has a free community version. Nice. I heard about that last time, and I think it was from you. I need to check it out. Penguin Airlines, yeah, P2V, just make sure your machine is prepped and converted and recognize the virtual hardware. Yeah, good call there. Good call. Just installing drivers mostly. Yeah. I've done P2V a few times. It was all at home stuff, and it was really like, okay, I'm done with Hyper-V, let's go back to ESXi, or I'm done with ESXi, let's go back to Hyper-V. I don't know if Proxmox has any easy tools like that, but it's so awesome when you get it to work, because it's like install an agent, set the target to your new hypervisor, go. And you're right, you just need to make sure that they have drivers for sure. Killer Bee, check out QMK. They just built a keyboard with the possibilities are endless. Nice. I'll have to check it out. Never looked into it. Yeah, I gotta check it out too. I haven't checked it out at all. The Soccer Mom, what's everyone's favorite keyboard brand? I'm looking at something and not loud, the idea of mechanical, but I think people in the office will hate me if you do. Yeah, so I agree. Takano, brown switches. I agree. I have brown switches. Yeah, it spans the gamut. It spans the gamut. You have everything from the mechanical ones that are for gamers, and then you have the mechanical ones that are for programmers or coders, and then you have mechanical ones that are just for everyone else. I don't know. It's funny how they get branded or bundled into genres of people who do stuff on a computer that need a keyboard, which is pretty much everyone. But yeah, I'm sure people have lots of suggestions. I've used a DOS forever. I love it, and they were early on the mechanical game, so they were, you know, it was before mechanical got to be the where it is again right now. But I enjoy it. But yeah, there's so many out there. I mean, and then after that you got to pick, do I want RGB? Do I want to replace my keycaps? But I agree that brown's the way to go. Anything blue or red is going to be super high-pitched clicky, you know. And this keyboard, I mean, you hear my keyboard usually in my videos, but and I have some noise gate turned on so you can't hear it, but you can kind of hear it now. Brown is the way to go. I love it. It's so quiet in comparison. But then you can find man, what is it? Red Dragon or something? Or Dragon keyboards? I don't know. If you want to try mechanical, really cheap, there's like a $31 on Amazon, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Bought it from my wife. It's actually pretty good because her keyboard was like an old Mac chiclet one, and then I don't know, and then like we tried this other one that has red switches, and it was like, oh my gosh, it sounds like people here playing games, and they're super high pitched. But I think it's Dragon. I don't remember what it is. But it's $30. And it's like, you know, Amazon free return stuff. It's like, try it for a day. You don't like it, man, send it back, $30. Otherwise, you're going to probably be spending upwards of $60, $80 for a decent one. Anyways, if you wanted to try, it's a good one to just try out. And then if you don't like it, it's like, well, throw it on your workbench, and you got a decent keyboard on your workbench for only $30. It's mechanical. Anyways, I'm going on so long about mechanical keyboards, but I could all day. Lots of switch options, totally agree. Yeah, blue ones, loud. Blue ones are so loud. Let's see, I've heard some good things about Geterons. Never heard that, but never tried them. To kind of switch I want were novel keys, cream switches, but they're always out of stock. Yeah, I haven't heard of those either. Gordoon, hey, how's it going? I think that looks like a newer name. Hey, I was just dropping by to say thank you for your YouTube videos. Very helpful. Hey, no problem at all. Sorry it took me so long to get to you. Actually, I'm not too far behind today. But yeah, thanks for stopping in. Glad they helped you. What video? How did you find me? That's what I always love to understand is like, what video on YouTube, yeah, did they suggest or you were searching for? Because I like SEO stuff too. I'm always curious. Let's see. Oh yeah, O-rings for sure. You can have O-rings too. Yeah, from bottoming out. Exactly. I bottom mine out all the time. I probably need them because that's half the noise. Because the click isn't. I mean, if you get browns, you can't really hear the actual click. You hear the bottom out. And so yeah, O-rings help you from the noise being so loud if you bottom them out, for sure. And I do bottom my keys out. I'm bad at it. Penguin Airlines, hey Tim, what is the Rode mic model? The gear list has the Shure SMB7. This one's the Rode PodMic, and it should be there. Should be under PodMic, or I don't know. My gear list, it's under like podcasting and streaming mics. It's probably in the list number 2 or 3. And I mean, man, if you're ever thinking about getting a streaming mic, this one for sure I think is the way to go. As long as you're okay with it being a dynamic mic versus a condenser mic, which means, you know, you're going to need something amplified. If you have a Go XLR or something, you're going to need to provide power to it, and you're going to need to talk loud. Like right now, it may not seem like it to you, but I'm talking really loud. But at the same time, like this mic, once you get used to it, it's fantastic. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. Has like this industrial look. It has a pop filter built in, and it's like $100. And I say that like, oh, that's not much money. Like it definitely is a lot of money depending on who you are. But if you're looking for a mic anyway, and you're like, well, you know, Blue Yetis, like, you know, the usual suspects of mics, this is right there with it. And I think you get a better value out of something like this. That's me personally. These are hard to find though. They are hard to find. They're always out of stock. It seems like when they get in stock, they sell right away. My trick is look at Guitar Center because that's somewhere no one thinks to look, and you might be able to pick it up locally. Everyone thinks, you know, Amazon, Best Buy, whatever, Newegg, but Guitar Center, I mean, makes sense, right? They sell musical instruments, they sell microphones. They have this one there. You might be able to walk in and get it today if you want to, or at least pick it up locally sometime. Anyways, but yeah, it's great. The Shure SMB7, Shure SM7B is awesome. I mean, everyone has that mic, and every podcaster you see, I mean, that's like the de facto standard one. And I think that's like a $400 one, if I'm not mistaken, which it's super good. But at the time when I bought this, I'm like, I'm upgrading from a $30 microphone all in one. I might go the $99 route instead of the $400 route until I decide if this is for me. And I mean, I can see myself sticking with this for forever. I don't know. But yeah. So let me know if you need help finding that link, but it should be in there. But it's a Rode PodMic, and Guitar Center also carries it. I think it's good. but you'll have to change how you talk. Not necessarily, you just have to talk loud. Beta Tech today, Techno Tim and Rancher, how do I mount an existing NAS folder from a different server? Any learning book or website in Rancher, thanks for all you do and provide on YouTube. Yeah, no problem. The easiest way, if you want to mount them, is use a persistent volume. And I think you can use NFS. I think XOR did this and talked about it a little bit in our Discord server. But you want to use, like, you don't want to just, I mean, you can, right? You can mount volumes, like NFS volumes to that host, and I think map them that way. But you might want to go the route, like the Kubernetes way of doing it, and create a persistent volume. And then as far as learning books, I mean, Rancher, their website has, I think, really good documentation. I mean, great presentation. I will say that they have documentation on 1 and 2. Sometimes it's kind of confusing, like, hey, are you guys talking about 1 or 2? You'll know that they're talking about 1 because it'll be in red at the top, and it'll say like, hey, if you're looking for 2, click here. Unfortunately, it doesn't map 1-to-1 to, you know, the 2 version of the doc. But I would start there, and I would look at persistent volumes. And that's a Kubernetes construct, so that's a Kubernetes thing. But you know, Rancher gives you an easy way to configure that. And I think that's a good route to go, because it will that terminology, that construct of a persistent volume applies to Kubernetes and not just Rancher. So maybe look at that. Hey, thanks for the follow. Sorry, I don't even have my other thing open. Oh man, Achilles ads. I'm so sorry. Shades. It's something close to that. Starts when they. Hey, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Skull. It's the PodMic. Yep. Yeah. It is out of stock. I gave you the trick. Look at Guitar Center. Look at Guitar Center. They had 2 when I was there. So yeah, no one ever thinks to look there. Let's see, Takano, referring to how I'm out of keys since I'm using a 10 keyless keyboard. Me too. 10 keyless, I think, is the way to go. Mainly because, like, those 10 keys, like, I'm not an accountant. Like, if I were an accountant, yes, I'd want them there. Or if I typed in a lot of numbers at work, I don't. I type in my zip codes sometimes for something I test. And for the rest of the time, it just takes up more space to the right to where my mouse could be. So yeah, once I went 10 keyless, I don't think I'll ever go back. And if I want a numpad, I'll just buy a cheap, USB numpad and plug it in somewhere. But yeah, I enjoy 10 keyless. I would, if you're ever thinking about, like, hey, thinking about getting a new keyboard, look at 10 keyless too, because they're super, I don't know, a little more compact. But yeah, I totally agree. Penguin Airlines, oh, okay, thanks. I was pretty sure I saw some video in my feed, like, make the PodMic sound like an SMB7. Yeah, I mean, there probably are ways. Yeah. But the Shure one is awesome. I mean, that's what everyone uses. Every podcast you see, people are using that. Yeah, Scott, I totally agree. $100 and it's great at what it does. I would, yeah, like I summarized it all before. Like, I think it's fantastic, especially if you're comparing this to other microphones in its class, the $100 microphones. I think this is hands down the best $100-ish microphone you can buy, I think, personally. Penguin Airlines, oh yeah, I'm hunting for my perfect QMK keyboard. All right. I'll have a look at the comparisons against the AT2020. P. Diddy, I just got a Keychron K2 and I love it so far. Nice. And I use Browns. Nice. So you're not driving your neighbors crazy. Penguin Airlines, I know which switches I want to go with, so I'm definitely going custom. Oh yeah. Kale, how do you even say that? Kale box jades. I don't know anything about those switches, but they, I'm sure if they're custom, they're awesome. A lot of people like the Code keyboard too. I hear a lot about that. Takano, I'm still pretty newbie with the Switch stuff, so there's a ton of options. I totally agree there are. Like, I can't believe how much you can customize keyboards these days. It's insane. Yeah, from switches to keycaps, the actual keyboard itself, to you name it. One of my friend had a rubber ducky on his Escape. I was like, what? It looks funny, and I've seen skulls and everything. It's pretty awesome. Penguin Airlines. I wonder if I could use my existing shock mount. Looks like the shape may not be standard. It should be. It should be, because right here it screws on to whatever the standard thing is. Oh, your shock mount. I doubt your shock mount. No, because they give you this whole thing. I don't know. You'd have to look into that. I won't make any assumptions. I don't think so, though, because how would it grab onto this? I mean, maybe, but then you'd have to unscrew this piece right here. But yeah, that's a good call. I don't use a shock mount. I think I should sometimes, because I bump stuff, but I try to be good. Like right now I'm fidgeting with this paper clip I unwound just to reset this RM Mini 3 over and over and over. But I have this in a place where I don't bump it all that much, but it could go either way. Good call on Guitar Center. Not thought of that. I didn't think of it either until Amazon didn't carry it forever, and I started going on Google Shopping and they recommended Guitar Center. I was like, oh yeah. And then I called them and they're like, yep, we got it. I was like, you hold one for me? I think I did. No, I think I did. I called them just to make sure. I think I did in-store pickup. Can't remember. But yeah. Penguin Airlines, man, I should probably go split ortho. Oh yeah, that man, you are pro if you're going that way. I know. Just know if I bought, I'd have to buy two, so I could have one at work and at home. I totally agree. I have two DOS keyboards. One's at work, one's at home. I have two Razer mice. I have two of these guys. Because why? Because one's at home, one's at work. I'm the same way. Because I used to do context switching all the time. Like I had an Ergo at work and a DOS at home, and I'm like, kind of like my DOS a little bit more, my mechanical one more than my Ergo one. And it was just too much context switching, even for the mouse. And I was like, I got for a while, like I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna bring my whatever. I'm gonna bring this to work, and then at the end of the week, I'll bring it home. And I was just like, no more doing this. I bought two. So I'm the same way. Rode makes amazing mics. Shuckle Samurai. I have an old Rode Procaster. I don't even know when if it ever dies. Yeah, I agree. This is my first Rode anything. I ended up getting this Rode PSA arm too, which is pretty okay. I think it's kind of a little overrated. Like the scissor makes this weird noise, like this loud popping noise. And I've seen all these videos on YouTube where they're like, yeah, your Rode should not do this. Well, I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask Rode, should it do this? And they're like, yeah, that's normal. You know, first email, I'm like, doesn't seem normal to me. It sounds like something's broken and it's clicking really loud. And I'm like, here, let me send you a video. And then so I recorded a video and sent it to them. And I, obviously just went back and forth. And I should have recorded the noise inside of here because they could only hear the noise over my phone. They're like, yeah, that's normal. The scissor inside there will do that sometimes. And like, yeah, but that's not what you get for a $100 arm. You know what I mean? I don't know. I didn't think so. I mean, my $5 one that was from Newer didn't even make that noise. I was just like, okay, like I'm not gonna, I usually push back more on that kind of stuff, but I'm like, I'm not gonna fight this one. I rarely do it. But usually that I had to let that one go because that's not my, it's definitely not my personality at all. But I was like, you know what? I'm not picking this battle with Rode. Penguin Airlines Adorama has them in stock now. Love that site. Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. Skull, great call on Guitar Center. It was in stock and I just ordered it with the Mo 2 M2. Nice. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm spitting all kinds of knowledge. Not really. It's about 1% useful knowledge. The rest is rambling. But yeah, glad you found it. Like I said, I wouldn't have known it was there unless I did some digging. And by digging, I was just like Googling it everywhere. But usually when you go to buy products, you go to stores and then you search the stores rather than like search for the product across all stores. Cause everyone has their 4 or 5 favorite stores. They look for stuff like this. Yeah, but okay, let's see here. Nice call. Yeah, Penguin Airlines. Oh man, I hate entering IP addresses without 10 key. Yeah, that's true. But I've gotten better at IP addresses without 10 key. I've just gotten better. Now I'm like 2 hands on the keyboard now. Because one's already either on the mouse or kind of close or on the keyboard already. So I've gotten a little bit better. Yeah, IP addresses, you're totally right. Because most of them are going to start with the same 3 or 4 octets, depending on where you work. or if you're at home, you know? So yeah, you kind of have those drilled in. I don't know, yeah, I got over it quick though, because then I realized my mouse is so close to my keyboard now that like, just to move, you know, this much space all the time just to do this was just kind of, I don't know. Buddy of mine doesn't even have the arrow keys and home. I don't even know what goes beyond 10 key. There's something else even more compact where you don't have that. And it's, I mean, he doesn't have arrow keys. He like hits a keyboard command and he's like, yeah, here's how you arrow down. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that. Looks cool and he's got it down, but man, I mean, he looks super pro when he's doing it too. But I'm, yeah, that's beyond me. I'm like, okay, arrow keys are kind of nice, you know, home and end are kind of nice too. Page up, page down. I kind of like those, especially for coding or scrolling to end of pages. I'm cool with keeping those there. But yeah, hey, Lightning Rock 77. Finally caught your stream. Thank you. Hey, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind the comments. Welcome. I have, oh man, officially given up on Docker, LOL. I've tried so many things to get it running, still can't get it running. Oh, that's not good, because Docker is so good. Don't give up on Docker. I say go for it. But yeah, I mean, if it's causing too much pain, you know, and it's not something you want to pick up, and managing things other ways with VMs works for you, yeah, go for it. Yeah, I'm sorry it's causing so much pain. I know it takes a while to kind of wrap your head around things, especially if you're new to it in general. It's kind of like, what? But afterwards, I think it's good. I don't know. I love, yeah. I'm a huge fan of consolidating stuff too. And when I can consolidate VMs into one and then manage services and ports that way, it's so nice to not have to think about, oh, I got to patch like, I don't know, 10 servers, reboot these 10 servers. What version of Ubuntu is running on this one? Did I reboot it? Is it patched? Like all that stuff. Now I just manage a couple VMs. Let's see. Yeah, man, Soccer Bum, thank you. That's right. You should join the Discord. Yeah, and talk about it in the Docker channel. I totally agree. Thank you. Yes. Great answer. And I didn't even think about that. So thank you. It says you're unable to join. That's sad. Shouldn't say that. Shouldn't say that. There are like 0 people banned from this Discord. Don't be the first, but there are 0 people banned. So shouldn't say that. So yeah, use that link for sure. If that doesn't work, sometimes Discord has weird issues. If you try it on mobile, it doesn't work. But if you try it on a desktop, it does work. I don't know. And I've managed other communities before too, and it's the same thing. Like people say, I can't get in. And it's like, try it on desktop. They're like, I'm in. And it's like, okay, it's mobile sometimes. But yeah, and I don't mean to slam Discord because Discord's so awesome, but totally Discord. Shuckle Samurai, amazing mics, terrible arms. Yeah, all right. That's kind of the vibe I have going now. But everyone talks so highly of this. Oh, and I had the blue compass. I bought these both at the same time. So I had the blue compass, the one that comes down like that and has the arm. And I was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing now. Microphone's upside down. No, it was like, you know, it mounted to my desk, which I have a really wide desk. So I was like, there's no way. And because this is a dynamic mic, I would have to literally scream directly into the mic to get it to work. So yeah, yeah, I kind of agree with that. But I ended up going with this, and I had a newer one, and you know, these mics are heavy. Like there are a few things in the world where you can judge their quality by weight. Microphones are one, power supplies are the other. And so yeah, so this thing is super heavy. I mean, I don't know, that's something I've always gauged with power supplies too. I'm like, how heavy is this thing? Is it like super light? Yeah, probably not gonna pull the amount of power or be as reliable as I want. But yeah, I kind of agree with that. I don't know if I need to check my warranty on this thing too, because I will definitely call them out on a warranty if it ever totally breaks. But it's not broken now. It just makes this weird clicking noise. There's even this YouTube video where like people are on their podcast like moving it around. It's making this loud popping noise. That's exactly what mine does, and presumably Rode has told me when I reached out to him, yeah, they'll do that. So yeah, whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna get caught up on this. You see me after the stream, I'll just be writing them, typing. typing them furiously saying, yeah, I think I should get a new one. But I don't know. It's such a pain in the butt, though, sometimes getting warranty claims and stuff. I don't know. Amazon makes returns easy, but those aren't warranty. Warranty claims are always so hard to do. Everything's stacked against you for a warranty claim. Provide all this information, do all this stuff, pay for shipping. And in the meantime, you're not going to have the thing. So even if it's partially working, you got to wait till the new one comes unless you do cross shipping and blah, 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 blah. You guys know how it goes. Penguin Airlines, that's a funny concept, though. I wonder which store might carry this that has terrible SEO. Yeah, I know. It is, isn't it? It's like, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. PodMic, though, I think the cool thing about this, it might have terrible SEO, but I think PodMic's all one word. I think that's a way of getting around. Like, you know, the actual thing is called PodMic, all one word. So I don't know, they might work for them. And maybe that's why they kind of done some of it. Because if they're like, it's a PodMic, it's like, yeah, any mic can be a PodMic. You're just gonna record a podcast with your phone. That's a PodMic. Might be a good skill to learn this day and age. Yeah, for sure. Lightning Rock and Proxmox is difficult for a Linux newbie. LOL. I'm sorry, man. You're not picking up anything I'm laying down. Hey, but now I'll say it. Hey, we have a channel on Discord too, dedicated just to hypervisors. So if you're having a problem with Proxmox, ES6i, Hyper-V, we got a channel for that. We have lots of channels now, as Exor mentioned the other day. It's like I was gone for 2 weeks. Now there's like tons of channels. Penguin Airlines. That's usually 60 to 65% layout, Tim. Oh, on, are you talking about on a keyboard? Depending on your, oh, F keys or not. Yeah. Lightning Rock. Oh, I want to learn Kubernetes and Rancher and Docker, but I've spent 2 months trying to get it working. 2 months? Oh my gosh. All right, you need help. You need to join a Discord and get some help for sure. But I will say though, that a lot of it is definitely gonna be on you too. It's not just gonna come easy. I mean, like most things in life, well, some things do. But with technology in general, learning any new skill, it's not gonna come easy, right? And so this is no different. And so if you're having problems, yeah, definitely I can give you pointers. We'd love to help. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be you that's gonna have to build it and implement it. So hopefully you can get that working. Techno, I didn't see the use of Docker since I kept just running separate VMs for each service. Then I followed Tim's tutorial and now I'm in love with it. Hey, awesome. That's awesome. And it's kind of funny because like the people that are trying Docker for the first time are actually trying Kubernetes. And so it's like you skipped a whole generation of containerization and went into the orchestration part. And I love it. It's like third world countries that go from no landline directly to mobile phones. It's like you skip that whole generation and the pain and all the pain stuff that came along with that, you know, with just, you know, and I'm not saying anything against Docker. Obviously, it's awesome. Otherwise Kubernetes and everything else wouldn't be using it. But, you know, it does have a lot of downsides. And it's not around the actual service itself. It's how you orchestrate things, how you spin things up, how can you know monitor things, and like all of these things you're getting. And so I love it that someone who's never done or used Docker goes straight to Kubernetes. It's just like I always think of that analogy of just like, you know, third world countries who've never had a phone line ever, and then they go straight to 5G. And you're like, wow, what a leap. That is, or 4G or whatever, any mobile technology. You never had to run, you know, any kind of landline everywhere. It's so awesome. Probably a bad analogy, but that's what I think of it, like that big of a leap in tech. I got a Discord to finally work. Is there a Proxmox channel? Yeah, there is. Hypervisors, look under hypervisors. Yeah, because it was called Proxmox at first, but want to be inclusive, want to be welcoming. So depending on, you know, people are using all different types of hypervisors, and I think some people recommend, hey, we should not have a channel per product, just create a more general one. I totally agree with that. It's like, don't name your servers after the product they run, because someday they might not run that product and they'll forever be that product name. So I just give your servers really fun or weird names. It doesn't matter what they do. I don't know. That's something we used to do too. We used to name them per product, and we're like, Now this is kind of like in DNS and Active Directory and stuff forever as this product name. And yeah, anyways, you'd probably create a new server and rejoin it or something. But anyways, there were some that just were out there forever as an old product name. The soccer mom, what are you using for a desk? Oh yeah, great question. I have a video for that. But anyways, so I converted, so I'm using this IKEA desk tabletop. So I bought the big piece of wood from IKEA. It's like really big. It's like, I don't know, 6 feet. And it's like 3 or 4 feet back. And so I had that piece of wood and I did an IKEA hack desk for a long time. And then I bought these mechanical legs so I can adjust my desk. So I basically converted this piece of wood into a standing desk, sit-stand desk. So I think it's awesome. And I used to have 2 of these, and my wife and I both had a seat at this really long desk. But then I got mechanical legs and converted both of them into a sit-stand desk, which I thought was awesome because you can use any piece of wood you want. And IKEA's wood for their desktop is great. I mean, it's real wood, and it was like $100, which is pretty cheap for good wood. Sounds weird, but it is pretty cheap to get anything solid wood this big. So anyways, yeah. So I can send you links or whatever. But the IKEA, I forget what it is, IKEA wood, attach my own mechanical legs. The nice part is I can keep these legs forever, get a new piece of wood, and now I have another standing desk that's not the old piece of wood. So yeah, it's super awesome. Let's see here. Oh, Lightning Rock, keep up the tutorials. You've helped me a ton with things. Hey, thank you. Yeah, no problem at all. Auto receiver boards are the same way. The heavier, the better. Ska. Yeah, I like it. I think like it has something to do with like the coils in there in general. Just more coils, the better, whether it's speakers or audio stuff or microphones or power supplies. I think the more they coil in there, I'm not an electrical engineer or any kind of hardware engineer, but that's my take on it. It's my hot take on power supplies. Heavier they are, the better they are, unless they throw a whole bunch of rocks in there or something. Lightning Rock, wow, can't type today. Hey, I can't type any day for sure. Like almost every message I post in Discord, you'll see the edited sign next to it because I'm just like fire stuff off and then I go back and fix it later. I don't know. I have a bad habit of doing that. I proofread email in my sent items. It's not good to do. Like, no, probably should proofread before I send. Nope. I proofread after I hit that send button. I live dangerously. I need to put a timer on my email so then I can hurry and cancel it and fix it. Errors. But something in my brain says faster is better than accurate, which goes against most of the stuff I believe in. Shuckle Samurai, we have all the channels. Yeah, we do. All the channels. Lightning Rock, oh, you've taught me a lot, Tim. I just showed a little slow at learning and don't quite understand everything, but that's all of it. Yeah, I don't think everyone understands everything. I think that's a fair statement. So, hey, don't feel bad. There's a ton to learn, and there's so many aspects of it. I mean, mine is just one opinion and one perspective, but there are so many people with different opinions and perspectives that I think that's what makes it great. And everyone has different reasons for doing it too. And I love hearing reasons why people build home labs, rack servers, build awesome, network setups. Everyone has their own reason for doing it, and it's super interesting. It's even beyond like, why do you have a PC? It's like, no, why are you building all of this infrastructure? And everyone has a different reason. I love it. And then like having a community around it too is just like, you get to absorb all these other ideas and learn about other things that people are doing. You're like, yep, that's cool. I'm going to do that. Oh, yeah, that's cool. That sounds really hard. Maybe one day I'll keep that in the back of my head. And so, yeah, I love it. Takana, I've seen 140% keyboard. It's so bulky. Yeah, I'm getting them. I think my 10 keyless is the perfect size for me personally. Penguin Airlines, Linux is a super valuable skill though. I totally agree. You can use it for the rest of your life, make a lot of money, and have a lot of fun with it. 100% agree. P. Diddy, 40% more bulky? Yeah, I know. Killer B, I'm using Core OS and now Flatcar. Curious what made you choose Rancher? Rancher OS? Are you planning on running Kubernetes with one VM on each of your machines? Let me think about that. Curious what made you choose Rancher OS. Are you running Kubernetes with one VM on each of your machines? So I'm actually running Ubuntu. So I'm not running even Rancher OS, I'm running Ubuntu. And right now, I went the simplest way possible. Single node, non-HA, Docker install, because I just didn't want to spin up a ton of stuff. Future, it's gonna probably be, I'll either go K3S or RKE. I don't know if I'll do Rancher OS, only because, like, don't get me wrong, Rancher OS sounds awesome. It gives you exactly what you need to spin up Kubernetes in Rancher. And it seems really nice because it manages all of those versions for you, so you don't have to worry about an update breaking. You know, you accidentally update Docker and that's not supported. It's rare. It's never happened to me, but it could happen. So Rancher OS seems like a good fit for that. And so I probably won't go that route, only because I want to be able to install a few things, like my QEMU agent, right, for Proxmox. And I want to be able to do, you know, some lightweight stuff on that host if I need to. Not that I just go on the host and install everything and treat it like my desktop or some utility server. No, I keep what I install and configure to a bare minimum. But at the same time, Rancher OS is a little too locked down for me. Not that I think it's bad. It's I understand why you'd want that in a super, you know, controlled environment. But I'm just one person, and I sometimes I need to do some stuff and apt-get a few things, and like QEMU agent for Proxmox is a good example of where it's like I just want to be able to install those things super easy. Let's see here. Penguin Airlines, LOL. I have the Corsair K95 original with the 18 macro keys, and I don't think it even has 40% more keys. Yeah. It does, yeah. Yeah, a lot of the ones they classify as gaming, tons of keys, 4 macros, exactly right. Lightning Rock. I give my server funny names like Cletus and Joe Billy and stuff like that. Sorry to say that in a southern accent. That's awesome. I mean, I don't give mine funny names. I probably should. I give mine just names that kind of pop in my head. It's usually something to do with outer space or constellations or galaxies, and so. But I always have to do. I have to do a couple maps in my head, like, oh yeah, what was Milky Way and what's its IP address? There's like 2 maps I have to do all the time. Should put them in DNS and be a little bit easier. But yeah, but sometimes I burn good names for bad servers. If you know what I mean. I'm like, yeah, it's a great name. Get it set up and it's running, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this other thing is going to replace it. You know, and I don't know. I usually don't change host names of things afterwards after I get services set up, because who knows what that service internally is looking at. Hopefully it's host name or something like that, but it's not always. So I rarely change it. So I've burned a few good names by replacing those servers with something else that did something similar. But yeah, I totally agree. Give them names of things that aren't bound to products. That's my only suggestion for server naming. Other than that, go crazy. Penguin Airlines, yeah, IKEA desk fam, yeah. I got Freddy. Hey, that's one of the few IKEA products I can pronounce. Well, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but it looks like Freddy, but it might be Freddy. But yeah, I totally agree. Their wood is awesome and cheap. Takano, never mind. Just found a 433% keyboard. I didn't even know keyboards went in percentages higher than 100%. I mean, it makes sense now thinking about it. Like, you know, you have all these macro keys, you have all these other things. Yeah, that's crazy. Sucker Bum, Techno Tim, sorry, I'll search your YouTube. Didn't realize you had a video on a desk. Oh no, I don't watch it. It's not good. And I don't say that not to not watch it. It's just like this really long video about some upgrades I did here in this room, and I was like, I'm gonna record it. And then like, it went on, it goes on forever. So yeah, you don't need to look at it. But if you are interested in like, hey, what does the IKEA wood, or what is the standing legs I used, and what's the IKEA piece of wood I have? Yeah, it's in there. If you want to see kind of how you put it together, yeah, but it's way too long. And for some reason I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna like record this whole entire thing. And I was like, that was before I really understood how to like tell okay stories. I was just like, This is just gonna be like the whole day of recording. And I don't get me wrong, I edited a ton out, but I should have edited more. But I wanted to capture, that video was for me more than anything else, so I can look back at it in the future, for sure. But no, don't apologize. I was saying I have a video that I was just kind of joking. Let's see here. Lightning Rock desk. Oh yeah, at least my bot picked it up and said, hey, a desk isn't supported. IKEA Girton, thank you, Dr. Bell. That's right, it is the Girton. It's a Girton. It's a great piece of wood. And it's probably the cheapest piece of real wood you'll find out there. And I recommend, if you do it, get the wire basket too. I know that it seems weird, but if you saw underneath my desk, you would see a rat's nest that's like this long of just wires and surge protectors. I have at least 3 surge protectors up there. And then I have those mini extension cords plugging in for all the wall warts. They're all tucked in this basket. And I know the basket's probably like 15 bucks, which is kind of like, what, 15 bucks for that thing? But that thing is, it's better than anything you'll find anywhere for cable management, at least for me. It's like, I mean, you can throw, you can probably fit like, I don't even want to guess, but at least 15 surge protectors in there if you really wanted to. I mean, it's that awesome and holds that much volume. I think I have 3 up there, fully loaded, maxed out to the gills. But anyways, yeah, it's, 2 things I got from IKEA that I really enjoyed were those 2. P. Diddy, ironically, I found you from your desk vid and then got me hooked on Proxmox Dr. Rancher. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. So my SEO then, sometimes I put out my feelers on some videos, not that one. But sometimes, you know, I don't know, there's this whole like content planning thing, and you know, I don't know, it's this YouTube strategy. I did the opposite of what they said you should do, and I think it's working out okay. But part of that strategy is, yeah, do how-tos and on new things, and you have the potential to attract new people. So I guess that found P. Diddy, and I'm glad it did. Takano just posted in the images channel. Yeah, have to check it out, man. 433%. I'm not ready for this. Lightning Rock, I'm just a tech geek that loves to learn. Yeah, thank you. That's why I went to Home Lab. Yes, awesome. Totally agree. Lightning Rock, I want to make sure I'm saying that right, because I'm just saying it like I've said that word forever. Like if I install Apache 2, I do a test. I do it on a test machine to get it working. Then I install it on a production server. Yeah, I've been there. That's the awesome thing about Docker. I think you're touching on one of the awesome things about Docker. You won't have to do that step of installing it on I mean, depending on your environments and how controlled they are and how, you know, how you manage them. But if this is stuff at home, so let me rewind this or peel this back. I think, because I used to do the same way a lot, right? I'd have my Play Linux server that I was just like, here I'm going to install and get the thing working exactly the way it should, because, you know, who knows what I'm going to run into, you know, and I wasn't really great at Linux. So I was just like, this is my Play machine, get it running, get it working, make sure it works. Hopefully I have all the copy pasta that I used. Absinthe 76, thanks for the follow, appreciate it, welcome. Hopefully I have all that copy pasta, and then I could just run that on my production machine, copy over those configs, and everything should work perfect because I just did it on this other machine. Well, on Docker, you just instantiate something that should be perfectly working already. It has all its dependencies, and you map environment variables and volumes, and maybe a little bit additional things, and it should stand up and just work. And if it doesn't work, you just delete the Docker image, and you're done. There's no leftover residue. I mean, if you map volumes, you might have to clean up files, but there's not like a ton of dependencies you just installed, or you broke apt because of something, or you had to force upgrade stuff, or like you have one version of a dependency installed on Ubuntu, and now this new thing you're installing forces you to upgrade it, which could break the other thing that depended on it. There's none of that. And that's another reason why Docker's great, because you could, I mean, I could spin up 1,000 Docker containers, be kind of crazy, all with different versions of Node. I run Node, but name your engine. And not one there would not be one conflict at all, because that version of Node comes inside of every single container, and they're all totally separate and they don't impact each other. So anyways, I like what you're saying there, because I used to be the same way. But once you go Docker or Kubernetes or whatever, once you start containerizing stuff, that's in the past. Like, you never have to worry about accidentally destroying your machine because you spun up a Docker container. But yeah, good point there. I can totally relate, because I remember being like that too. Killer B, cool about Rancher OS. CoreOS definitely let me install stuff, but a little more complicated. I'm also a single node, yeah. So I think I saw your use for Rancher management. Did you try Portainer too? Yeah, I just tried Portainer. What was this, about a month ago? So I didn't try Portainer before Portainer, because I found Rancher before Portainer, I think, exists. Maybe not. I didn't compare dates, but I've been doing Rancher 1 stuff for years. And then Rancher 2 stuff came out, and I'm like, okay, now I got to do Kubernetes at home. And yeah, so I've tried Portainer 2 with Kubernetes, and don't get me wrong, super nice. And yeah, so, but I'm still with Rancher for a lot of different reasons. But it's super awesome that Portainer has now finally started, not finally, but now with their new version, they're on Kubernetes too, if you want to manage that. So, but yeah, did I run a ton of workloads on it? No. But when I did it, it was beta. Now the final version is out. And so, but the beta version for me worked absolutely fine, minus a little persistence. but that was part of playing on the beta. But yeah, they're playing, they're trying to accomplish the same thing, right? Help you manage and orchestrate Docker. Help you manage Kubernetes, which orchestrates Docker, or helps you orchestrate. It's an orchestrator for an orchestrator. It sounds super weird, but it's kind of what it does. Helps you orchestrate Kubernetes. But yeah, awesome. I mean, I love what they're doing, because yeah, Kubernetes by itself is kind of hard, and most of the time you have to go with a cloud provider to get those kinds of features, unless you're going to spin it all and manage it all by yourself, which can be done. There are a lot of guides out there, but not for the faint at heart. Yeah. Lightning Rock, by the way, do you have a business email or something? I'd love to chat with you about it. I don't. I don't really. But just mention me in Discord, and yeah, I'll figure out something. But yeah, I mean, I don't have one that I give out. How about that? Chicano, I have managed to hide all my cables, and it's a great feeling. Yeah, before it was a rat's nest. Yeah, mine's still a rat's nest, but at least that rat's nest is all in one spot, all tucked away. And when you sit at my desk, you can't see it. Unless you go underneath the desk, then you see the rat's nest. And I mean, it's just like, I mean, think if like Pigpen on Charlie Brown was like cables. That's what it looks like underneath there, but it's all compact. Penguin Airlines. Oh, and the PodMic says the capsule internally suspended, so they have taken care of what I need for shock mount. Hey, I learned that today. I didn't know that. I know that they have the pop filter built in, and I can tell because I have lots of plosives. I learned that's what it's called too from streaming. Plosives it's that loud pop you hear on a mic. And see, I'm doing it right here. I'm not doing it directly at it. I'm doing it across it, so I'm trying to manage it too. But for the most part, you don't hear the P when I pop like you should, because I think it also has, well, I'm messing with my mic now, but I think it also has a pop filter built in. But yeah, a great mic. I can't say enough great things about it. Took some getting used to first, and you might need something to amplify it. So you'll need, I use a Go XLR, and that can power it perfectly. I have the Mini, but you'll need something similar, like either a Cloud Lifter or something that can run Phantom power, I think it's called, to it, and enough of it. But yeah, awesome. You should totally get one, Penguin Airlines. I think you stream. I think you do, because I can kind of tell by your desk you do, and I think you have a Stream Deck on it when I saw screenshots. And if you do, I'll totally have to check out your stream at some point. Lightning Rock, new Techno 10 video Docker for Lightning. Well, true letter by letter tutorial. Yeah, I try to keep my stuff at the 201. Sometimes I venture into 101, sometimes I venture into 301, but I try to keep it right at 201. And I try not to cover very broad topics like what is Docker? Today I'm going to tell you what Docker is. So I don't like to do stuff like that. Like, not that it's not valuable, but there's tons of stuff out there for that. Mine is more applying something. That's my thing. Mine are just like, yeah, I don't know, tutorials, but how to apply some technology in your life, possibly today, possibly without buying anything at all, and maybe you can do it in an hour or two. That's my shtick. Hey, Habibai Da. Hopefully I said that right. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. I know you're kidding. I know you're kidding. Lightning Rock, for sure. Penguin Airlines, the first time you get something set up with Docker, you'd be like, you mean the instructions and the batteries come in the box? Yeah. And for a long time, I didn't even understand, like it was magic to me. And I thought, in the beginning, I was kind of like, why do I need something to ship binaries to me? Like, I didn't fully get it. Like, I'm like, it'd be like if someone said, like, I'm going to make this up, but if someone's like, hey, we're going to give you ping .exe in a container, ping whatever. I'm like, okay, well, why don't I just run the exe? But I never thought about, like, okay, what are all the things that ping needs? What are all the network dependencies that it needs? Everything, DNS, all of these other things that it needs. And, I just didn't get it at first. I'm like, well, why would I want to do that? But then I start to realize, oh, these containers ship all their dependencies with them too. So you can drop this on a machine as long as it can install Docker and it's some flavor of Linux, like, it's gonna work. And it doesn't need you to sudo or apt install anything or pacman or whatever, name your package manager. You don't need any dependencies most of the time. And I'm like, oh, now I get it. And at the same time, you don't, not only dependencies, you don't need to install anything else afterwards too. Yeah. Absinthe, have you moved your development environments into containers too? I have not. I've thought about it before, and a lot of people have mentioned similar things or doing Vagrant type stuff. But I mean, just having I guess a tech support kind of background, I love configuring my machine. And I know that doesn't scale, and that kind of stinks for, if I'm on a larger team, bringing on new developers. Now new developers need to set this up and set up their environments and get that going. I personally enjoy that, but I know that doesn't scale. And I know some people don't enjoy that too. So I personally haven't. I've heard of teams who do. I've heard of teams who use Vagrant. Or I've heard of teams who, do a lot of this stuff remotely on something else, another virtual machine or something else. But I haven't personally. It's interesting to think about. But I don't know. I like all my tools local, I guess. I mean, I guess they're in a container. They're still local. But I will take that back. Like, I mean, okay. So I have pulled down pre-made environments like that. So I have built containers locally that will eventually end up on a server, but I pulled them down locally to debug them and exec in or whatever, spin them up on my own machine to test them. I do that before building my own private containers too. For workloads, like custom containers, but never had like my whole entire like environment, like my dev environment inside of one. Sounds super interesting, for sure. Sounds like something I would really be into, but yeah, my dev environment, I'm just, I know the 30 things that I need to install. And so I'm just like, yes, I love it. I love that piece of it. But again, I totally see where you're going. That doesn't scale, and it stinks. If you're a hiring manager or you're on a team, it kind of stinks to like, walk through a new developer of the 50 things they need to install and, before they're productive, and that stinks. So a container, I think, would kind of solve that for sure. Killer B, yeah, completely agree. I love that everything is easily packaged up and I can keep my configs separate and easily transfer them all around from when I need to. Yeah, I totally agree too. And especially when you start, if you do custom development and you start using environment variables for environments and not just variables that you pass into them, it gets even more awesome, because then you have an environment variable on your server called production, and you have your custom workload when it stands up, read that environment variable, and it's like, oh, I'm in production. I'm supposed to behave this way. And the same with staging and QA and what name your environment. It gets really awesome when your config lives, when your config is part of your environment. And so that you can stand up that container anywhere, and it's just like, oh, I'm in prod, I do this thing. Oh, I'm in QA, I do this thing. Or oh, I'm in dev or local, I do this thing. And that's where it gets really awesome too. Not only configs you map locally, but when it can start being aware, it sounds weird, but being aware of its environment or reacting to environment variables that are on that server, that's where it gets really awesome. Some people build them into there, some people have their configs in code, and then some people set their environment variables in the environment and have those containers react to that. And it blows my mind how awesome it gets. Spartan, I've recently been using Bitnami, okay, for some test and production installs. Does anyone else use their repositories? I have used Bitnami for one thing. I cannot tell you what it is right now. Oh, kube control. It was. You know, I tried to use kube controls, Bitnami's kube control. Couldn't get it to work the way I wanted it to. So I went with this other one that include both Helm and kube control. But they have like 20 billion polls or something on that, something ridiculous. So a lot of people use it. So I'm like, yeah, this is the one I'm going to go with. I ran into some problems, and it was probably because I didn't read their documentation thoroughly. But yeah, that's the only one I know. Let me know of other ones you use, because I'm always open to using, you know, more popular containers than or images than what I currently use. Absent, been playing around with Fedora Silverblue, which uses OS tree, sets the base operating system as immutable. Interesting. Ultimately, it's using PodMic containers and Flatpaks instead of installing things native. Yes, that sounds awesome. And I think someone was saying this in the channel the other day, but I think that's the way Windows should go too. So man, Fedora Silverblue sounds awesome, because I think that's kind of what the utopia is, right? Is that your OS is immutable, so you can't change anything about it, right? You pull down containers that you instantiate. Hey, Jangy. I think that looks like Jangy. Jangzy. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. But that sounds really awesome. OS is immutable, so you can't change anything about it. I mean, like most things immutable, right? And then containers for all of your apps that you use. Yeah, sounds awesome. Sounds complex, but I think that's I don't know. Sounds like awesome design to me. I've never heard an OS doing that, so that's news to me, and that sounds awesome. And we were just like talking the other day, like, man, that's the way Windows should go. You know what I mean? I mean, I get it. They have a ton of legacy stuff, and it'll probably never happen without a huge change. And maybe this Windows 10 model that they're, you know, using now or going to next will be, maybe they'll get rid of some of their legacy stuff. Who knows? But it would be super awesome if they went that route too. But there's so much software that people depend on. It'd be tough. But yeah, good to know. I have to check out Fedora Silverblue, because that sounds like the future to me. Lightning Rock. I tried organizing my rat's nest, but it made it worse. Me too. And you know what? Every time I get a zip tie, and I'm like, yeah, zip ties, that solves all your cabling problems. No, no, it does not. It'll solve them short term, but the minute you need it a little bit longer than it was before, you're just like yanking on each one. You're like, I got half of a loop out on this side, and I just made this side a lot tighter. I'm kind of the same way. Like I took the time to wire my PC up, super nice. Mainly because it has a glass case and you gotta look in it all the time. But I'm so bad at other cable stuff. Like, I'm not even joking. And I try to do it good. Like, I mean, like I ran hoses all over my whole entire yard. I mean, water hoses are just big cables, right? I even messed those up. I'm like, okay, put it around my arm every time. Yep, I got this perfect loop. Look at this perfect loop. And I'll put it down and I'll pull it out and run the sprinklers, and then like something gets messed up. So then I'm pulling on this, and then I have to shift this whole entire loop down. But yeah, anyways, I digress. But I stand by my opinion that hoses are just big cables too. And so I'm terrible at that too. Don't look at my yard. Takano, any hint for Saturday's video? Huh, did I drop one yet? No, I dropped a couple in the last and Tuesday's video. I did. Not hints. The topic came up, but yeah. I mean, this one is yeah. I mean, I don't know why I'm always so secretive about it because it's not like some huge thing. But this one, I'll say this. I won't even say that. Will I say that? Yeah, I'll say that. Maybe. Yeah, I will. Well, maybe not. Yeah, I will. So yeah, I mean, I've said this a few times, is that, you know, on this last video with Rancher, I finally, like, a lot of the stuff I was doing in Rancher was to get me to this point where I could finally say, here's end to end. If you want to self-host your own code in Rancher, here's how you do it from beginning to end. And that came with a lot of stuff, and I mixed some stuff in between, but you know, after that, I was going to kind of explore some other stuff that I do here too. And it's still all in the same vein. Don't worry, I'm not like gonna start, I don't know, reviewing shoes. You know, I'll say this, not Docker and Rancher this week. How about that? That's probably the biggest clue I've ever given for any of my videos. So something a little bit different, but still, I think it's awesome. Something that I set up a long time ago, and then I finally enhanced my setup. And I should have done this months ago. I should have done it years ago. But anyways, yeah. Good question, Takano. Still tech, still awesome stuff, I think, personally, and it's still stuff that you could do on your own if you want to. So yeah. Oh, man, I give away too many clues. I need to stop doing that. But anyways, so yeah, not going to be Docker this weekend. Going to be something a little different. That's as much as I'll say. And if I keep talking about it, I'm going to end up telling you what it is. Penguin Airlines, hi, don't stream though. Oh, that's right. You said you had a stream deck just for your apps for keyboard shortcuts. I've entertained the idea, maybe soon. Just bought my first camera. Awesome. Hopefully you went with like, did you get a webcam or did you get like a mirrorless or a DSLR cam and then hook it up? Because, it's right here. This was my second streaming camera. This is my 5200. So I have something like this up there still, but a nicer model now. So if you ever want, like, yeah, decent, if you have a DSLR period and it's not getting the use you would like it to have, now I sound like a big commercial for this product I'm going to say, but if you have a DSLR in your basement that you only touch on special occasion, or you have a mirrorless camera that you only take out when you go hiking or family events, or if you have a GoPro that doesn't see the light of day unless you're on vacation in the tropics, you could totally use this as a webcam. Yeah, you totally can. And you just need either a couple adapters. And that's a cool thing. Like a buddy of mine just bought a GoPro, and he was going on a cross-country trip. He's like, yeah, I bought a GoPro. I was like, awesome, man. And he was thinking about the GoPro for his vacation. I was thinking about everything else. I'm like, you know, you could use that for a webcam every day and have a high quality webcam. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, totally, you can. You know, you either need to buy a part, and I think even GoPro has software now to just do it, just to plug it in over USB. Anyways, long story short, again, going back to one of my core values, get the best value out of your thing, reuse something instead of buying it. If you have a decent DSLR or a mirrorless camera or a GoPro, yeah, you can totally use this webcam for all your conference call, and then you can be looking pretty spiffy. Anyways, I digress. Shorty 17. No. What access points would you recommend to use? If Unifi, what's the best way to run software they require? Yeah, great question. Great question. So for me, I have AC Pros. So I have Unifi AC Pros. They work fantastic. I've had 3 in my life. I had a long range one, but long story short, I basically gave it to a buddy of mine real cheap because he was having problems and I wanted to upgrade anyways. And I think they're fantastic. So they aren't as consumer friendly as I would like them to be. I've had people buy them and they're like, I have no idea what to do with this thing. And that's not a good recommendation to someone who's non-tech. And that was a lesson I learned. No matter how great the tech is, like the average person needs to be able to still set it up. So you have to be a little bit on the techie side, which I'm sure you are if you're probably here. How does that go? I'm sure you probably are if you're here. But the AC Pros, Unifi AC Pros, fantastic. I have, I think, 42 wireless devices running off them. I have one in bridge mode going to my garage. That's not even attached to my house, where I have then another network running inside of there, which runs 3 1080p cameras all day, 365 days a year. Super solid, zero problems. So, yeah, and so I recommend those. If you're techie, yeah, for sure do it. You'll need to set up the Unifi network software. Super easy. Like if you're techie, super easy. You install it, it finds your device, you configure it, set up your network, manage your devices, and that's about it. But the thing is, because it's, you know, it's, they use SDN, so software defined network. So there isn't a web page or an admin page you can just go to manage it from anywhere. You have to run the software. Me personally, I run that software then in Docker and Kubernetes. You don't have to. You can have it installed on a Windows, Mac, Linux machine, anything you want, and manage it from there. So that's my recommendation. If you want to know the exact one, I have a gear link somewhere down here that will take you to somewhere. I forget. It's probably Kit or Amazon. I think I switched it back to Kit. And in there I have a network section. And those are the things when people are like, which access point do I get? Which you just asked. It's in there. When people say, which cable modem do I get? Because I don't want to pay Comcast anymore to rent this thing for 15 years. I say, get this one. Or if they say, hey, I'm going gigabit, you know, and I need a cable modem, don't want to pay Comcast for 15 years. I say, get this one. So anyways, a lot of that stuff's in there. And you'll see it down below in the gear link. Barf Narfler. Hey, welcome. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. So that was a long spiel on Unifi, but I think they're fantastic. Techno, I managed to organize everything by using cable raceways I purchased. Yeah, that's awesome too, because you can just tuck those in there, tuck them in. You know, the problem is, like, with what I have going on here, I mean, mine would have to be like this thick, at least. Just think of, I mean, you get it. I mean, tons of cords. I mean, and then I have 3 monitors, and then each of those monitors both have HDMI and DisplayPort run to both of them, all going who knows where. But yeah, a raceways, I think, is a more elegant way to go than my rat's nest. Yeah, Techno, yeah, TP-Links, EAPs, cheaper than Unifi, similar features. Yep, totally agree. The hardware or cloud key or dedicated Raspberry Pi Zero has a management software you can spin up in Docker. Yep, totally agree. Yeah, so totally agree. And so I have those on my list too, but I have the cheaper version of those because most of the people I show that stuff to, they're like, they're on 2 sides. They're like, they're either I'm not techie and those are hard to set up, either one of those access points, or I'm techie and I want to save money. And so then I have the lower end of the TP-Link there. And then they're like, I'm techie and I want like the best prosumer model or whatever. And so then I say that model. But yeah. So I have the lower model of the TP-Link one. And that's only because, like, I've noticed when I show them to people, they're like, yeah, but I don't want to spend, you know, $100 and some. I want to spend like 60. And I'm like, okay, here's the one if you want enterprise-like features and it's a dedicated access point, this TP-Link is going to do you well. Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. Has it managed it? We talked about that. Hey, here we go. Habibda. How do I make a moderation bot? Yeah, there you go. Penguin Airlines. Thank you so much. That's exactly right. I got a video on it. Lightning Rock, does Docker use less memory, like Minecraft installing on Ubuntu, or does Docker use less memory? I'd say the same. I'd say the same, because at the end of the day, like that process is going to request memory. It goes back to my example with ping is probably a bad one, but you know, think of something really small, an executable that's really small. I don't know. I'll go with ping again. You know, ping, when you run it, is going to take the same memory on the host machine, whether it's containerized or not, because it's still a process that's running on that machine. So I don't think it would take more or less. No, same, I'd say. Habib, oh, thanks. Where is it? Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Takano, you are on it. Thank you so much. Shorty, 17, no. Can you run Unifi software in Docker? And is that recommended? Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Takano's on it. Yeah, exactly. That's how I run it. I run it in Docker. Sure, it's recommended. It's actually fantastic because you don't have to deal with installing all kinds of stuff on your machine. And when you want to upgrade, it's as simple as saying redeploy or pull latest or however you have it deployed. And you have the latest within 15, 20 seconds. And you didn't have to run through some wizard and do all kinds of stuff and then ever have to clean stuff up in the end. How did you start developing and how do you get started? Yeah, that's a long story. I've told it a couple times, but at the end of the day, it was kind of my own desire. I wanted to build an app to do something, and I was already in IT, and I was already automating tons of stuff and scripting stuff and working on automation stuff. And I thought like the next evolution of me wanted to be to write custom code for whatever. Rather than use other people's stuff and script stuff, I wanted to write my own stuff. It's kind of high level, but it was an app. I wanted to build an app, and that inspired me to learn how to code. And then once I started doing that on my own, I wanted that to do it professionally. And so fortunately, I knew, you know, I had an opportunity at work to kind of change my career path from an IT pro type person to a software developer, and I jumped on it, and I've been on that train ever since, and I love it. But it's a lot of hard work. Not gonna lie. I mean, I did it on my own for 2 years, and that was my idea of fun. So I did that as a hobby, you know, for a long time before I did it professionally. Before someone paid me to do it, you know, I did it as a hobby. So I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of figuring stuff out. But if you like figuring stuff out and building stuff and making things work and making things not work and figuring out why they don't work, and not settling for software that people give you, maybe rethinking it and doing something different, then yeah, it's for you. Because that's how I was. I went from using people's stuff to writing my own stuff. And usually, I always wondered why people did that. I'm like, why would you not use this library that's there? And I kind of get it now. For the most part, like I do with my lights and everything in here, it's because like when things break, I can fix it by myself or figure out what I need to fix, or I can change it, or I can do whatever I want with it because I wrote it. And with other people's stuff, sometimes you can't do that. And you know, you'll see once you get into programming, people have different programming styles, using different languages, and there's nothing against using other people's stuff. Like it's awesome. That's why, you know, open source is out there and so popular. But sometimes I like writing my own stuff. That's just my own personality. But yeah, if you enjoy that kind of stuff, I highly recommend getting into it. And I mean, the Discord bot is definitely a good intro to that. A lot of it's set up for you. And there's very simple hello world commands that you can use and play with and adapt and evolve on your own Discord server. I mean, Discord gives you a whole entire platform to play with. You know, you just spin up the bot and you're like, okay, what do I want this bot to do? And it's super interactive. You just go and type in your command and did my bot do the thing? No. Threw an error, look at the error, and you're like, oh, that's why. Fix the error, run it again, do it again, it works, you know. So anyways, not all about coding, but yeah, I definitely enjoy it. Let's see here. Killer B. No, they do not have one. It's by Linux servers. My go-to for images. Yeah, man. That's the one I use too. Linuxserver.io. That is my go-to for all my images. I basically go window shopping in there almost every week. And I'm like, what's new in here? What's interesting? What does this thing do? Do I want it? Yeah, me too. Spartan. Oh, I like Spartan. Is that like Spartan? Yeah, I like it. Spartan. For your local workstation. You could use an Ansible script to pull your packages and grab your home env and sync on a NAS. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I need to look more into Ansible. I haven't had to automate operating systems or configs across environments for a long time because most of the stuff I do is now personally on my machine, which ends up in Google Cloud. So yeah, I haven't had to manage those types of things outside of my infrastructure here, but I moved all my stuff to Kubernetes here. But I do need to look into Ansible because it does sound awesome. That and Terraforma. I did like some Hello World stuff in Terraforma, and still to me, like managing infrastructure like code sounds right up my alley. I just haven't had the time to do it. But yeah, that's a good tip, Spartan. Killer B, RE configs. I totally forgot about that stuff. At work, we use env variables, and it's really fantastic. And then you get Jenkins credentials too. Hey, yeah, awesome. Man, I need to catch up because this was about env variables. Penguin Airlines, home for Keycloak. Oh, good guess. Good guess. Suckerbum, have you played around much with Ansible or OpenStack? We just talked about that. No, haven't played a lot with Ansible. I'd like to learn more. OpenStack, haven't played with it, but I've been a consumer or a tenant on OpenStack type stuff before. Yeah, but yeah. Betty would love console though. Yeah, another one. Velcro, zip ties for the win. Yeah, I totally agree. Go Velcro, because you can undo that easily. Yeah, Keycloak sounds super awesome. Oh, someone's changed the light. Where are we going? Back to green. Oh yeah. He hasn't, but has several configure management folks in the Discord. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Oh yeah, that's in response to what? Keycloak? Yeah. Keycloak is awesome too. Oh, Jangsy. Nomad plus console equals love. All right. All stuff I gotta check out. It can be for Fedora. HashiCorp makes it though. Oh yeah, HashiCorp. What else do they make? Password Vault or something like that too. I've used before in the past. Yeah, Nomad. I haven't heard about Nomad until now. I gotta look at it. HashiStack, Nomad, Console, Vault. All right. Is Vault the new password vault that HashiCorp has always had? Or I can't remember. There was some password vault. Maybe it's just called Vault now that I've used before in the past. Although we're going to retire in favor of Kate's Kubernetes. Yep. Techno Jordans. Oh yeah, this is going back to shoes. Okay, I gave up on the whole streaming thing trend for 3 years now. Never went anywhere. LOL, Lightning Rock. It's tough, man. I'm not going to lie. It's not going to lie. It for sure is. Penguin Airlines, I got a new GoPro 9. Figure I can use his webcam, motorcycle, and film stream, and decided to have enough time. Yes, get more for your money. I totally agree. Janksy, Nomad plus console is great for smaller workloads or workloads that don't lend themselves well to Kubernetes. I tend to try to avoid full-on microservices until I have to. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Because, like, yeah, tons of microservices. Yeah. It's it's a lot of management, you know, with microservices now. It's tons of little repos, tons of little changes, coordinating all those changes. And then if you have something in front of that for clients, like a backend for front end or something, an API or API proxy or gateway, then you got to coordinate all those calls through all there. And then if you need to update one thing, it's like, oh, well, all these other microservices have the dependencies. I don't know. Traded monoliths for a lot of microservices. Good. I mean, a great move, but it turned into a lot of additional management too. Gimli, Theon, hey man, how's your day going? It's going pretty good, man. Day's almost over, but going good. How about you? Janksy, Ubiquity stuff is great unless you're trying to use their carrier grade stuff. Haven't done that. I've always been the, you know, they're kind of, you know, I guess enterprise at home type stuff. Gimli, Theon, having one of the toughest times with, oh, that just jumped. That just jumped big time. Hold on. There we go. Having the toughest time with some of the projects. Tried pfSense today on a VM, but I think my Windows host is corrupt or something. I don't understand networking. Yeah, that stinks. Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, the pfSense, so the ones that are kind of hard to start with are pfSense is kind of a hard one. Pi-hole is kind of a hard one. And then anything after, you know, Rancher and Traffic kind of gets to be a hard one. Yeah, I know they're tough ones. But if you want some quick wins and want to try some stuff out, I mean, yeah, you could get Rancher going or just get Docker going and try one of those services I recommend. I say a lot of people like to dive right in and go for the most difficult thing at first, but man, sometimes you need some quick wins. Like, hey, let's spin up whatever. Spin up Plex. Let's spin up Jellyfin, let's spin up something easy, Duck DNS, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I see, I understand how this works. Like earlier today, yeah, I was just like, we were talking in Discord about some traffic issues, and I was like, just spin up an Nginx hello world, you know, spin up Nginx hello world just to verify that things are working, instead of introducing a lot of individual stuff. But because yeah, sometimes you need some quick wins or some way to validate that what you're doing is working. Yeah, not least, let's see, pfSense is tricky. I totally agree. Yeah, not least all of the fact it's BSD. Yeah, I totally agree. Sci-fi cheap guy. Here the Amplify Alien Wi-Fi routers are pretty good, but always out of stock. Good to know. Techno TP-Link EAP can be used without the controller, just setting it up in the mobile app through a web browser. Yeah, it's good to know too. Janksy. I'm gonna say Janksy. Use the MikroTik SDN stuff. It's Linux backed, so really easy to nerd out on with automation. Yeah, SDN is awesome. You know, I heard about it, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and I didn't really get it. And I wasn't a networking person either. But now I'm like, I mean, it's the same thing we're trying to do with everything else, you know? Infrastructure is code, config is, you know, code, or you know what I mean? Docker containers, containerize that stuff, immutable, you know, be declarative. It's all moving that way, and it's pretty awesome to see. Barfnarfler. Barfnarfler. I would argue that MikroTik is a bit easier to configure. Janksy, yeah. UI is nice. Gear is more stable. I ran most of my ISP and MikroTik gear. Good to know. That's what free and open source software is all about. There we go. yeah. Fully open source. I always thought it was free and open source. But yeah, I always thought FOSS was free and open source. But fully open source, I mean, may also apply, but I thought the free part was the F. Could be wrong. Rust Go for the win. Yeah, I've done a little bit of Go the last couple of days. Haven't done any Rust, but I met someone who worked at Firefox, which is written in Rust. Sounds interesting. Gimli Theon, I like that too, and the fact that you are in control, but it's hard. Oh, that must be a threaded conversation. System Homed does a lot of that too now. System D. Oh, I was like, oh, what? Let's see here, Dr. Bell. Oh, been pinged too long. Thanks, Penguin Airlines. Dr. Bell, in regards to your self-hosted Unifi controller, where did you find the container and image? Yeah, so I used the Linux Server IO one. I thought that came up before, but I used the Linux Server. Wait. Now I'm second guessing myself. I think they have one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that because if they have one, that's what I'm using. If not, I'll let you know. I was using some other random third-party one because Unifi didn't keep theirs up to date. They were only doing it with like major versions. And so some random person was doing minor versions and I was like, yeah, I want that. And then I think linuxserver.io picked it up and now it's just like, that's what I'm going with because I know it's gonna work. It's gonna be up to date, you know, same API, same documentation. Killer B, that's correct. He mentioned he uses Linux Server. Yeah. I had to second guess it. But yeah, Linux Server IO. That's, like I said, that's where all my Docker images come from. Like I said, I just window shop once a week. I'm like, yes, what do you got? Oh, what do you got for me? Barfnarfler, yeah, Linux Server is great. I use a couple of their images and services. Their documentation is great. Totally agree. Documentation, they keep them up to date. Consistent API. Like I can rattle off environment variables that most of them are going to support. You know, it's going to be time zone, it's going to be PGID, PUID. Their volumes are going to map to some config. Like it's so guessable, and I like it when things are guessable, and I like what they're doing for sure, because it's fantastic. Yeah, and they keep them up to date regularly too. I think they have like combined 10 billion polls on all their stuff. I'm just like, I still don't know. Heimdall's another one. I don't know what they do. I should know more about this group and what they do. I'm sure they do some kind of consulting, but I have no idea. It's an awesome service what they're doing for the community. So yeah, for sure. I think I think they have a lot of it automated too. You know, it's just like, okay, get it set up when you see a new release on this binary, rebuild this thing in a Docker container and then push that up, or they have triggers built on Docker Hub that's doing this stuff for them. So, but they're doing a lot of that management stuff. They're probably doing a ton more. Yeah, I use Linux Server whenever I can. Totally great. Hey, Killer BC, thank you. Lightning Rock. I tried doing a Plex server, but couldn't figure out how to share it to my Samba server. Man, I got a video on that because that's exactly how mine's set up. So let me know. Lawrence at home. Hi from London. Hey, from the US. Hey man, it must be late there. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Gimli Theon. The reason I wanted to start with pfSense is because my infra is kind of messed up. Besides that, I don't really have any adequate hardware to run a hypervisor. Okay, with services, to be honest. Yeah, hey, totally fine. I totally get it. Yeah, I mean, my first two things I built at home were when I, had a separate computer, more than one, was one, file server, and then I think I went right into trying to turn my other computer into a router, and it can be tough at first. pfSense is usually kind of okay to set up, but I'm sorry it didn't work. But yeah, we have a channel in Discord on networking. Techno, 2 U.S. senators just demanded Amazon stop, I assume saying on its workers via social media after the news surfaced that Giant Tech was monitoring the driver. Plans to protest or strike. Anyone using Netbox for documenting a home lab? No, I need to know more about Netbox. Yeah, me too. Yeah, Penguin, let me know how it looks. Not yet, but now that I know about it, it might go well with the organizer server I'm setting up. Yeah, I'll have to check it out too, Netbox. Yeah, because I would love something to diagram my network. Just go out, discover all my stuff, and diagram it. I mean, similar to what Angry IP Scanner or something like that. Like, you have all these IP scanners that are out there, and they can all go out and scan everything on your network, broadcast, and then listen for responses, and then go through and query each of those ports to see what's going on or see what brand of NIC they have, and then look at their MAC address, and then do a reverse lookup on the MAC to the hardware vendor, and then assume it's someone because they bought that block of MAC addresses. Like, there's so many tools out there that do awesome things. I would love it to do something like that, and then create a diagram for me, because I don't want to spend the time doing that. Like, I have an idea, and I can look at my DHCP leases, and I'm like, yep, that's where those guys are. Or look at my different subnets, and I'm like, yep, I know what those are. But I would love for something to discover and maintain this thing for me automatically, because I don't want to think about it. And to be honest, I don't want to put the time in it, because I only need that type of thing when I'm either going to migrate or I'm just curious. But yeah, sounds awesome. I'd love to see it. Dr. Bell, thank you everyone who helped me find a Unifi controller image. I don't know why I never thought to check. Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, it's my favorite. It's been my favorite for a while. Home lab new. House now wired up with equipment in the rack. Home lab V1 complete. Yeah, man, post some pictures in Discord. Will do. Thank you so much. Yeah, I would love to see them. I love seeing people's stuff. D. Panesso. Hey, Tim. How's everything? Hey, everything is good. Welcome. How are you doing? Yeah, doing good here. Just kind of hanging out, chilling. Which is also a good reminder is that, man, there is a Discord, !Discord, which is a good cue for me, that I think I need to call it quits. There you go. Thank you, Takano. I need to call it quits, and I know there's a lot of people, new people in here. I see some new names, which is awesome. And I think we just shared the Discord link there. But my advice to you is like, hey, you guys can keep going on and chatting this channel. It doesn't go away when I end the stream. But if you want to continue the conversation and have it, persist and meet a lot of people who aren't on the stream right now, Discord channel is a great place to do it. We have topics on all different kinds of things, all different kinds of topics, mostly around tech. Some not around tech. Some are just deals we find on the web. Some are random images. Some are pictures of pets, but most of it is tech. And so if you're interested, I would love it if you would join. And yeah, great to see you guys too. Yeah, love seeing new names in here, and thank you for being here. I will be back on Saturday morning, and I will have a new video for you, 9 Central. Hopefully, if I get it done. I need to work on that now, and I didn't realize how late it was. But thank you so much for coming out tonight. I will see you guys Saturday. I will be in the Discord server too. So I appreciate it. Hey everyone, have a good night. Whoa, and some bits came in. An anonymous cheer. Thank you, Anon. Anon100, anonymous cheer. Thank you so much. That was so awesome. Thank you guys. You guys have a good night and be good to each other. I'll see you Saturday. I'll be in Discord. So take care. Have a good night. Adios.